Have you ever heard about pink noise mixing? Well, this video is an attempt to explain what that idea is, as well as why I don't actually advocate using the concept myself. To talk about pink noise, first we need to discuss what kind of noise we're talking about. In this context, noise just refers to a signal where no frequency or pattern of frequencies exist, or where every frequency is equally likely to occur. I'll be talking about this idea more in my upcoming subtractive synthesis video, but I have here a comparison between two different waveforms: a saw or sawtooth wave, which perfectly follows the natural harmonic series, and white noise. If I play the note A on the keyboard, the saw wave has frequencies at 110 Hz, 220, 330, 440, 550, etc., etc. Nothing exists between those harmonics, and our ears can reliably identify that pattern and go, oh, hang on, all those higher frequencies are multiples of the lowest one. Let's just stack them together as one larger sound. The white noise, on the other hand, has no such pattern. It sounds like static or rushing water. 110 Hz, 220, 330, etc. are all present, but so is 111, 222, 333, 112, 221, 340. Every single frequency is represented, and our ears just give up at trying to identify any patterns and lets it exist as a cloudy mess. Keep in mind that I didn't just say noise, I said white noise. We can classify different colors of noise based on how much volume is given to low, mid, and high frequencies. White noise is what we call equal power. If I play it at minus 10 dB, every single frequency is present at minus 10 dB. However, it doesn't sound like every single frequency has the same volume. I can load up a spectrum analyzer and see that we have more or less a perfectly straight line, but to our ears it sounds biased towards the higher frequencies, what we would usually refer to as bright. That's because of two distinct but related concepts. One is the equal loudness contour, which I talk about in my metering video. I go into more detail there, but the long and short of it is that our ears have a nonlinear response to different frequencies, and until we get to the upper limit of human hearing, we tend to hear higher frequencies more easily than lower frequencies. The other comes down to physics, how much energy is required for any given frequency to actually push air molecules around in order to reach our ears in the first place. Under normal conditions, that 110 Hz wave we talked about earlier has a wavelength of just over 3 meters. In contrast, a 1 kilohertz wave is a little over 34 centimeters. Imagine if you had two strings, one 3 meters in length and one 34 centimeters in length. Think about how much more energy you would need to exert in order to swing the longer string the same amount as the shorter one. Sound waves are pretty much the same thing. This brings us to the idea of pink noise, which represents the frequency spectrum in equal loudness as opposed to equal power. To get more technical, white noise is linear while pink noise is logarithmic. When accounting for the two factors I just mentioned, we find that a slope of about 3 dB per octave gives us roughly an equal bias in the loudness across all frequencies. If you're unfamiliar, an octave is twice the frequency from where you started, so 220 Hz is 1 octave up from 110 Hz, 440 is 2 octaves up, 880 is 3, etc. With pink noise, if 110 Hz is at minus 10 dB, 220 is at minus 13, 440 is at minus 16, 880 is at minus 19, etc. The correlation that pink noise has with the way humans hear sound is one reason why you may hear people recommend that you mix your songs against the profile of pink noise. Given that there are a lot of bad mixdowns out there that are a lot closer to white noise than pink noise in bias, I can appreciate why the suggestion has come into prominence. The general idea goes as follows. Once your song is ready to be mixed, add a sample of pink noise to your project and set it to whatever reference level you want to mix at. Let's say minus 12 dB for this example. Turn down all your tracks and pull them up in volume one by one so that each track is just barely audible over the noise. Once you've set the volume for all your tracks, remove the pink noise from your project and voila, your song now has a pink noise contour. Unfortunately, your song aligns with pink noise does not translate to your mix sounds good. In some styles, pink noise might be too bright for what you're after, and for others it might be too dark. In my first pink noise tutorial, I encouraged a slope that was around 2.8 dB per octave, but in the intervening years, I've come to realize that what you really want to focus on is the tonal balance of your mix in the context that your listeners are most likely to hear it, compared to other songs in the style of music that you're writing. I talked about this in my metering tutorial as well, but iZotope put out an effect called tonal balance control that really exemplifies this idea, though you don't need tonal balance control in order to properly utilize this concept. I recommend you listen to a lot of music, and I mean a lot, through some method that allows you to track the spectrum through a spectrograph such as span, minimeters, or any other spectrum analyzer you can get your hands on. As you listen, keep track of their relative position where low, mid, and high frequencies are on the spectrum. Take screenshots, compare them to other screenshots, and build up a mental map of whatever tonal balances you can find. Over time, you'll start to see trends that you can adapt to your own songs. As long as your songs don't go too far above or below the spectral curve of songs you like, you're probably in a good spot. This should prove to be a lot more reliable than any sort of one-size-fits-all approach that you'll hear from others. As a final note, there are other colors of noise as well, including but not limited to gray noise, which is white noise with the equal loudness contour inversely applied to more closely map to human hearing, Brownian or red noise, which has twice the slope of pink noise, blue noise, the inverse slope of pink noise, and violet noise, the inverse slope of red noise. That's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to all my patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to support the channel and join them, you'll get your name on this list, as well as gain access to subscriber-only sample packs and tutorials that can't go on YouTube for whatever reason. So check the link in the description below. If you found this video useful, consider dropping a like, leaving a comment, and/or subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos. Check out my Discord or my Twitter to see what else I'm talking about. Thanks again, and have a great day.